My name is Matthew Zagor. I'm an Associate Professor of Law at the ANU College of Law. I specialise in constitutional, international and primarily refugee law, and I'm also the Director of the Law Reform and Social Justice Programme. The Law Reform and Social Justice Programme was founded by Professor Michael Coper back in 2008. Law Reform and Social Justice lie at the heart of the ethos of the ANU College of Law, and the LRSJ programme is the primary vehicle for the realisation of that commitment.
I'm Achali Kumarage. I'm a PhD student here at ANU, and I manage all the student-run projects under Law Reform and Social Justice. LRSJ's work is organized around two broad functions. One is research and related work. Number two is our focus and emphasis on capacity building and skill enhancement of our student volunteers. LRSJ has over 12 student-run and student-led projects. These are all organized around social justice themes such as human rights, refugee rights, community legal education, and lawyering in rural and regional Australia.
The Community Legal Education Program is a program within the wider Law Reform and Social Justice Program at ANU. It's one of the most interesting programs I've come across. There's definitely many other programs like the Research Hub that I was involved in my first year, but just the idea of going to schools and connecting with students who might be in a similar position to me, where they're not too familiar at that stage of their life with the legal landscape of the world that they're going into, and that sort of apprehension, connecting with them and helping educate them on their rights was a really empowering moment for me.
I got involved with the LRSJ from my very first year at law school. It was an opportunity to actually live the values of social justice that had driven me to go to law school in the first place. And it was actually the space that I was given the support and the guidance to found Greenlaw, which we are now taking, partially independent, and that'll probably end up being my career. So it's incredible that at ANU you have the space to pursue your passions, to be empowered, to work with the next generation of young lawyers, activists and scholars that are going to be changing the world. And that is through the LRSJ program.
So one of the opportunities that I was afforded through the LRSJ program was to work with their research hub quite closely. And the LRSJ research hub is supervised by a number of academics at the college, led by people such as Matthew Zagor, Heather Roberts, Anthony Hopkins, Damien Clifford, for example. And what they do is teams of 4 or 5 students come together to write a submission to a parliamentary inquiry, looking at a current issue or a current bill before Parliament, and actually getting to make comments on legislation or draft legislation and make recommendations to Parliament. One of the really amazing opportunities that came through that is that myself, working with another student, Charlotte Mikolovsky, actually testified before a Senate committee, which was a little bit of a stressful and terrifying experience, but a really valuable learning opportunity to be able to have our voices heard and listened to and ultimately reflected in that final report. And it's just a really great way to see your work have some impact outside of university and in the real world. And I really think that's like the main strength that LRSJ has, is the opportunity it affords students to have a practical impact with what they're learning at the ANU.
We have alumni working in international organisations around the globe, as well as in rural and regional Australia and right here in Canberra, all of whom have a commitment to the program, a commitment to the ANU College of Law, and a commitment to the experiential learning program of the LRSJ.
Law Reform and Social Justice isn't just student projects, it's also about connecting students to world-renowned academics, activists, lawyers. And that included Jennifer Robinson, who came and gave a speech at ANU during my 3rd year on the climate crisis. And sitting there in that room with someone who is world-known for her work in the space, seeing that she was an ANU alumni, it opened up this door in my mind that I can be that. I can be that person who also works to change the world in a really meaningful way. And so from that event, I was connected with Vivian Holmes and the rest of the Law Reform and Social Justice management team. And Greenlaw was founded from that, a space to empower young people to make a substantive difference in the climate crisis and in the future that we all have a stake in.
Apart from our research functions, LRSJ organizes several events targeting our student volunteers. Those include movie screenings, panel discussions, training sessions, and also sessions with visiting judges and scholars at ANU. And these provide ample opportunity for our student volunteers to engage with experts in the field.
Getting involved in the projects that help you develop personally and professionally, like CLE, has not only made me stand out when I'm looking for law-related jobs or law-related opportunities, but just the personal and interpersonal skills that I've developed by leading these projects has helped me connect with more people, interact with other students of my background, and just make me feel like I'm part of the law society more in ACT itself than I was as I just arrived in Australia.
So law reform and social justice connects you to a range of incredible people, and I've been really lucky to be mentored and to be supported by Justice Rachel Pepper, who is a judge in the Land and Environment Court in New South Wales and an openly gay woman. And as someone who is also queer and who is very passionate about the environmental space, having that opportunity and being mentored through that by the ANU College of Law has been an incredible experience. It's helped shape green law and the work that we've been able to do, and I myself will be able to go and do an associateship with Justice Rachel Pepper next year after I graduate.
So our aim is to provide a dynamic, creative, collaborative environment of experiential learning that allows students to get involved at the earliest stages of their legal careers in making a difference. It's never too early in your law studies to engage in social justice.